Hello everybody, today we're going to continue talking about this new novel named Branded. It might sound alien, but everything in it carries vibrational energy, even self-consciousness is energy, people's opinion also energy, and therefore low vibration exists. This novel mostly fiction inspired on true events that might happen to somebody, names, characters, places, incidents, the product of imagination, and any resemblance just a coincidence or been changed to protect privacy. Fair use. Please consider this book as a sci-fi and the story honestly unbelievably mind-blowing. Portion of this novel contains third-party content constitute fair use. Works are meant to be educational, scholar in nature, which is protected by fair use laws. And this time, True Start decides to investigate a strange case about a super mom, a gorgeous blonde bombshell who went missing and then reappeared back with a branded burn mark on her shoulder, stating that she was kidnapped. This novel was inspired by true events, and there could be actually a lot more victims of this kind of victim practices. So please read and listen of other podcasts and ebooks. We would like to bring our opinions, speculation that could happen in real life. However, please consider is this science fiction, any resemblance to real people, dialogues, events, just coincidence, or been changed to protect privacy. Whole story honestly unbelievably mind-blowing. Chapter 1. Terry Kidney. Terry Kidney was born in July 12, 1988 in Los Angeles, California, where she has been entire life. She was raised by her parents Rick and Janetta. Terry met her husband Phil Kidney in 7th grade, and Phil was actually Terry's first kiss, and the two of them got married in 2010. And it felt like they were destined to be together. However, Phil was actually not Terry's first husband. She actually was married to a man named Dan back in 2007, but their relationship was pretty short-lived and rocky, and she and Phil reconnected by the end of 2009. Terry had completely separated from her first husband Dan and almost immediately moved in with Phil in the house where he grew up, which is located in Ocean Gate, California. In a few years into the marriage, they had their first child, whose name was Skylar, and then 2 years later, they have another child, daughter, whose name was Juliet. And since the birth of the children, Terry was a full-time mom. Even her sister Kyla said that Terry was a fantastic mother to her children. She was very involved in anything, and they gave her a name as Supermom. Phil Kidney worked at Home Depot full-time, and for most of the part their life seems to be normal and happy, and the relationship seems solid. In 2016, they were living their lives as normal in California. They were doing a lot of family stuff, doing to beach and the travel. Obviously, the life in California it's very beautiful because state itself is beautiful. Everything seems to be kind of picture perfect until November 2017. Chapter 2. Terry got missing. In November 2017, everything changed. That day, Phil came home from work and discovered that Terry and his children weren't home. Both of the children were in daycare at the time, and Phil said it was standard for Terry to pick up the children from the daycare between 4:30 and 5:45 p.m. So when Phil arrived at home at 5 p.m. that day, he expected Terry to be home with children. However, normally when Phil got home, he was greeted by kids and with big hug, and they had a big family snuggle cuddle time, and this time there was nobody. That day he came home and no one was there. And his last communication with Terry was earlier that day. She didn't say anything about going anywhere that evening or not picking up the children. Terry's last text to him was about 10:30 a.m. The day Terry asked Phil if he would be coming home for lunch, but Phil didn't reply because he didn't like to have his phone ringing while he's at work, so he didn't respond until 1:30 p.m. and he said, quote, "Sorry, long day." And Phil gets home and he sees his family was missing. He didn't initially panic. He thought maybe they stopped somewhere and ran errands. However, he figured though that Terry probably did pick up the kids at some point and she had them with her, but they were just not home yet. So Phil calls up the daycare and he asks them what time Terry picked up the children that day. But daycare told him that his wife never came to pick up children, and then panic started. Immediately, Phil decided that he needs to go and look for Terry. He calls his mom and her mom, so she would go pick up the kids from daycare and take care of them while he was focusing on locating Terry. Terry was training for a Thanksgiving jogging race that was coming up later that month, so Phil thought maybe his wife was out for jogging and just got lost in the woods. So she typically would go out in the wooden trails around their home, so Phil went to look around the area. Phil was really worried at the point, thinking there is no way Terry wasn't going to pick up the children, even if she was out running or maybe she just lost track of the time. So that was like so unlike Terry, and he feels a sense of fear and urgency. So he decided to use the Find iPhone app to track his wife. Terry's phone pinched at the location of Sunset Drive and Old Oregon Trail, which was the path that she typically would run on. But when he got there, the only thing he would find it was her phone and several strands of her hair, and was kind of wrapped around her headphones. It didn't look like somebody had just dropped the phone, though. It looked like it was purposely placed there. However, at this point, Phil became very concerned that something bad has happened to Terry, so he called 911 about 5:50 p.m. To be continued, thank you.